So,
Yeah.
okay. Does that mean that we're not supposed to talk about private things anymore?
Yeah, no more medical diagnoses on as we are now recording. As it turns out, Dale isn't there and Caitlin and I can't find the password. So we are recording and we will post to YouTube after the fact. So it will still be a public meeting. And if anybody has any concerns about that, they'll be able to watch us live and in color when they're ready.
Okay.
So with that, let's get started. Mr. Chair, call the meeting to order.
Yes, let's do that. And shall we do a roll call?
Yes, please. So go ahead. Mr. Potter, you can start.
So John Potter, Hudson, Bob,
Wagner, Milwaukee.
Susan,
Susan Lip, Madison.
Gerard,
Randall, Milwaukee.
and do we want to acknowledge Caitlin's presence?
Caitlin may or may not still be here. We invited her in to help us get onto the YouTube, and she may have bailed out. She did start the recording, so that's why her name is still
I'm
there.
still here and it's recording. Caitlin Burrell, Arts Board staff.
Awesome.
Thanks, Caitlin. So the purpose of today's meeting is to review the budget that George sent out along with the notes that he provided. Looks very similar to the last budget that we looked at, proposed budget, I should say. So we will be recommending a budget to the full board at the quarterly meeting on Friday. And it, of course, is all dependent upon successful legislative action with the 1310. What do you call the 1310?
That's it. Yeah, that process. Yeah, procedure.
Process. And that's the unknown, but we are proceeding as though that will be approved in some form. And George, if you would be, if that's
Yeah, I
accurate,
think
if
that
you
is
could
accurate.
just
And we
review
can
the
come
budget
back
for
and talk
us.
about the 1310. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Great, because for some reason I'm not hearing myself. So that's interesting. Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that we went through the budget so we could see what changes were made. We've been having dialogue with DOA budget office. And so as you saw in my notes, the things that have changed on the state side, no change to the grants as we had proposed them before. They're all remaining the same. As far as the operational costs, we have a better sense of the state ops because when we ended the fiscal year, we got a salary supplement, and of course the state employees got a little bit of an increase. So that's what's reflected here. And our last meeting, you were thankfully very on it and reminded me because we had eliminated the phone because we are now voice over IP, but had completely forgotten about the cell phone. So added back the cell phone, and while the number is probably more like $600, I put it in as 1,000 just to make sure we had room. DOA, for whatever their reasoning, decided to combine other admin and indirect costs into one line. So they did that both on the state side and the federal side. The number didn't change, the overall number didn't change, but they combined them under that category. And with all these changes on the state side, the unallocated amount went down a bit. On the federal side, same thing. No change to what we had said about the grants. There is the combination again of the admin and other admin and the indirect cost. And so therefore, again, the unallocated went down just a bit. As a reminder, because I always like to remind us about this, on the federal side, we do not get any salary supplement. So if as has happened, the state employees get a raise, we have to take from our federal grant and make that change. It doesn't come from the state. So, so that's again why we had to boost that up within the federal grant, which means, of course, we have less money, a little less to spend on other things. Other than that, I just want to cycle back to what John said related to the 1310. It is our constant hounding of DOA to be asking when the 1310 will be. They are already in draft form for the letter that's going to go to the Joint Committee on Finance. So they're being very helpful in that respect. But there's yet no indication as to timing of this. And when the timing does occur, there will be a couple proposals, and we can go through those after we have any questions about the budget itself. Any questions you might have about the budget?
No questions.
So a couple of things that went into it that we've included here just for your information. There is an expense related to the computers. So that's about $10,000 worth of expense. The Department of Administration has this new rule that they will no longer support machines outside of the warranty. And so therefore, they're essentially strongly encouraging state agencies to update their equipment, and which is why we're going through this at this time. Another thing I wanted to point out, that the Arts and Economic Prosperity 6, the study that we do with Americans for the Arts, is a $21,500 expense. However, it's something that we can pay over multiple fiscal years. So if something were to occur this fiscal year and we needed to have some money, one of the ways we could do that is spread that payment out over the 2 fiscal years. So, any other questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
John's gonna.
I'm not sure who made the first.
Yeah, no, there was no first.
Okay.
John was requesting a motion to approve.
Gerard, you're making a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Very good. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 So this,
George, anything else that we should discuss today?
just 2 more things. I neglected to say that another thing that will give us some flexibility in this budget is travel. At this point, our rate of travel is not what we hoped it would be due to the Delta variant. And so we will likely have some resource there again, if there was some challenge in meeting the match. And then finally, the only other thing I listed here for you, I gave you the spreadsheet for the shuttered venue operator grants coming from the SBA. I think it's important that the board realize how much federal money is flowing into the industry. And we need to be talking about how important this is, first of all, to making healthy the organizations we support. But then secondarily, that it is not the silver bullet that solves all problems, right? So it covered the time when these groups were closed, but as they emerge, and of course, as the Delta variant challenges their very emergence, things are still a little dicey. So I think we need to be prepared with the answer when somebody says to us, well, you got all that money from the American Rescue Plan. Well, all that money from the American Rescue Plan was for rescue. It wasn't for operations. And that's the challenge going forward, is opening up, operating in a safe way, and meeting your bottom line. And so this just gives the groups enough of an opportunity to remain open and to do their work. So I wanted to make sure we put that out there. Other than that, I think we're pretty straightforward. So if there are no other questions from you, your day has just had a shorter meeting than you had expected. Nobody hated that.
Oh.
Nobody hated that at all.
Made my day.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank all of you for making time in your day to attend.
Yeah,
We're
who
gonna s-
pays for my speeding ticket? That's what I want to know.
Well, I can tell you this, when you go to the state fleet, there's a big sign that says, the ticket is yours.
Ah, okay,
So-
thank you.
So, yeah, unfortunately, the state doesn't pay for speeding tickets.
Bob, a race car driver is a race car driver, and that's all I can say about it.
Only
Yeah.
on the track.
Only on the track. All right, so we'll just
Thank
get a
you.
motion to adjourn and then we can go our
So
merry way.
moved.
Second,
We need action on that, George. I never remember.
Yes, we need to vote for the
All
adjournment.
in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Very
Talk to
good.
you
Thank
soon.
you all.
Friday.